Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Adana.
And I'm Alice Ma.
And this is our first Jubilee.
Wow, the Bomb Squad is a huge community.
You cat ladies in the room might recognize me. I'm the host of Shop Cats, where, yes, I get to hang out with New York's most amazing bodega cats.
And I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mad Realities, the MTV of the internet generation. And we make shows that premiere on social media like Shop Cats, Hollywood IQ, and Proof of Love. I guess you could say we're new media.
Yes, or new media, which is why we're so excited to introduce another modern media maven, Caroline Chambers. Carol is an amazing mom with 3 little ones and another one on the way. She's the creator of the #1 Substack in the food and drink category and has a best-selling cookbook of the same name, What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking. I know what that means. I know how that feels. Okay. Don't miss Carol's book signing at 4:30.
Carol will be interviewed by Cherry Bombe's Kerry Diamond. Please welcome them both to the stage.
Yes.
Professional and we should just stand up.
Is this on?
Yes. I brought my phone on stage. I have no idea why. It was in my back pocket. I was so
put that
excited
on airplane mode?
Moldy's sing-along. That was our first ever
That
sing-along.
was amazing.
Caroline,
Wow.
are you going to sing?
I don't think so. I don't think this is my moment for a song.
Next year.
Talk. Yeah, please.
All right. Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? Oh, I'm so glad you're all here. Oh, I didn't see you two. Okay. Stephen and G. Good to see you. I've missed so many people, but I just can't wait till happy hour and get to catch up with everyone. I'm so thrilled to be talking to Caroline. We haven't known each other for a long time, but I've become such a fan in the time that we have known each other. A lot of you know this. The hottest media platform today is Substack. It's a website and an app where some of the most engaging personalities in food, fashion, news, and health publish newsletters, videos, and more. How many of you out there have Substack subscriptions? Okay.
How many of you have Substacks of your own?
Oh, as many as
I was going to say, shit, that was the same number of hands.
As many, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, you're going to learn a little bit more about Substack. There are 17,000 writers publishing on Substack, and Caroline, ready, is the #1 writer in the food and drink category. Yep. I'm going to embarrass her for a second. Ahead of Alison Roman, David Leibowitz, Yotam Adolangi, even Jose Andres. We love Jose. No shade on Jose.
Yeah, we love him.
So yeah, tens of thousands of folks are paid subscribers to Caroline's newsletter, What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking. An annual subscription is $50, so I'll let everyone out there do the math. But that's major, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I am so happy that you are kicking ass. You basically have a Caroline Chambers army out there.
I do, and many of them are here, which is really fun. No, all these girls.
But your husband is in the Navy, so I shouldn't make Army references.
Yes.
So, all right.
Caro Chambers Navy out there.
So, Caroline, I want to know, what is your secret sauce? How did you become #1?
The secret sauce is sauce. Every recipe that has sauce goes like viral and is the most popular recipe on the Substack. So if you're starting a food Substack, just get those sauces and dressings on there.
That is good to know. All right, tell us. We're going to break it down, because one nice thing about Caroline, and I don't know if you've heard our podcast interview or anybody who's a Cherry Bombe member, Caroline did an amazing member meeting with us, and this woman does not gatekeep anything. So
let's get into it.
Yeah. So what is your newsletter all about?
I think a big part of the success of What to Cook is that the title says it all. So as soon as somebody sees What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking, they immediately know what the newsletter is. It's quick, easy, dirty as few dishes as possible, recipes. And I feel very grateful that I did not have a team when I launched What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking, because surely somebody would have talked me out of that name. It's a mouthful, it's ridiculous, it's very hard to fit on a cookbook cover, but it gets the point across really, really quickly and efficiently. And it kind of meets people where they are.
And you all heard what Ozma said. Don't tell your friends or your partners your half-baked ideas.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Gosh, I loved that so much and could not agree more. Every project I've launched, George is the last one to find out. Because I'm like...
Caroline, who is your audience?
My audience, it's a really broad audience because, and I've met many of you here today, some of you are mothers, some of you are child-free, and it can be really broad because people who love cooking...
Cat ladies.
Often don't... So many cat ladies. People who love cooking often don't feel like cooking. People who hate cooking never feel like cooking. So I kind of get to capture everybody and bring everybody into the fold because I am a mom of 3 young kids, and my life is very much, spoken about in my recipes, and here's why this recipe was this week. It's spring break. Everything's a shit show right now. Like, I write about my life through the food. I do have a lot of young mothers, but it's really not. I get tagged by like bachelors, and they're like, guys, if you haven't gotten this book yet, I'm like, wow, there's a man out there. Okay.
What do you think you tapped into that people were literally hungry for?
So I launched What to Cook 5 years ago. So I'm like a Substack dinosaur. When I launched, if you guys who have Substacks, it's now like a really robust platform. When I launched, it was like MySpace. It was like a Google Doc, and you would like say a prayer and like hope that it got sent to your newsletter list. And now it's like a really huge platform, and it has kind of its own social media network within it. I launched 5 years ago when people weren't doing paid food communities yet. Patreon was becoming a thing. Patreon like really took off during COVID with the food community, but there weren't a lot of food Substacks out there. The people you mentioned.
Just one 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I didn't even know Substack was that old.
I know. I think I was one of their first people. They had no idea who I was, but I was there. This was a new concept. Now, so many food creators have paid communities now, and it's becoming a thing that we're used to. Like, you kind of pick your favorite 2 people because they meet you where you are in your phase of life, or you love their recipes, and you subscribe to those too. But when I launched 5 years ago, that wasn't a thing. It was like very scary and vulnerable to ask people for recipes because you were just getting free recipes on TikTok and Instagram and blogs. So I wanted to provide more than just a recipe. So if you are a subscriber, there's a substitution for every single ingredient. And that's something that only happened because I launched during COVID lockdown. And this is when nobody wanted to go to the grocery store an extra time. Like, if you had a pork tenderloin in your fridge, you wanted to use that. You didn't want to make chicken. And so I still, to this day, list a sub for every single ingredient and tell you how to cook those other ingredients instead. It frankly takes twice as long as writing the recipe and developing the recipe sometimes. But I think it's like a teach a man to fish instead of give a man the fish thing.
Or lady.
And so we really like meet people where they are. We I know you had baseball practice after school. Don't make your own rice. Use frozen rice. We provide a lot of hacks and give a lot of permission to make things easier on yourself. And I think that's what sets it apart from just grabbing any old recipe.
I want you to go back a little. Tell us where you grew up and the influence of your mom in your early days.
Oh, my mom's the best. What a nice thing to get to talk about her. I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And anyone who follows me on Instagram knows that it's a funny thing getting to build a social media presence, because you sort of have this sitcom of your life that you craft. I mean, that sounds inauthentic, but it's just the people I share. But everyone kind of knows my mom now through my social media. We live across the country from each other. She's in North Carolina. I'm in California. And so we see each other 5 times a year. And when my mom, her nickname is her grandmother name is Crash, because she totaled my husband's car in this she's fine. It's only funny because it's funny. This very hysterical, dramatic way. So her nickname's Crash, and everyone's like, when's Crash coming back to town? What's Crash up to? Because she's just this tornado of a human.
Your kids call her Crash?
Oh yeah, Quash. actually. Crash. Oh yeah, like they don't know any other name. It's Crash. And so she worked full time, had 3 kids, and growing up, I knew no other world than dinner time being like this hectic tornado of trying to get food on the table. Family dinner was really important to her. She worked all day. She got home at 5. She wanted to spend those 2 to 3 hours with her kids. She still to this day hates the grocery store. So she is who gave me the original, like, she's why I'm a substitution queen. Like, she will substitute like milk for coconut milk, and you're like, okay. She makes it work though. She gets into a kitchen and she can make a beautiful meal out of absolutely anything. She's also type 1 diabetic, and so she is really good at making like healthier swaps for the Southern food that we grew up with. Yeah, she rocks and is hugely influenced the way I cook.
Well, we can't wait to meet Grandma Crash.
I know she really wanted to come. I don't know why I didn't.
Next time. When did you know you wanted to work in food? And why? I'll open that. Do you got it? When did you know you wanted to work in food, and why was food of interest?
I feel like, so in college, I went to UNC Chapel Hill. In college, I had like a really bad food blog. That actually might have been on, no, that wasn't MySpace. That was like Tumblr. You old media people know, remember? Okay, so I had a Tumblr. There was like this really bad food blog then. And then I moved to New York. I started working in advertising. I very quickly realized that advertising was not for me. Both just the work wasn't for me, and 2, I'm kind of a cowboy. Like, I like to do what I want when I want. I'm not good at working for people. And so at age 21, like, you kind of have to do that. But I had this unique opportunity. My husband, my college boyfriend turned fiance, turned husband, was in the Navy. And so he was out in San Diego. And so I moved out there to be with him. And that move gave me this like catalyst to chase what I wanted to do, which was work in food. I am not as brave as all of these restaurateurs, so I was like, I can't work in a restaurant. It's too scary, and the hours are too insane. And my husband's hours were too insane, so I would never have seen him. And so I opened a catering business, like knowing nothing, having never cooked professionally, never cooked for anyone else, full fake it till you make it mode. And catering was my like launching pad.
You mentioned your husband. You've had a very interesting career path, not just the catering. Some of it dictated by the fact that your husband is a Navy SEAL and even fought in Afghanistan. You moved around a lot, not just to San Diego. How did being a military wife impact you?
Oh my gosh, in so many ways. I think the most important thing to say is that I love being a military wife so much, and being able to support and lift up military families is like the most fun side quest of being an internet person that I have. Like, I love getting to raise money for families, for Gold Star families, and do a lot of different things supporting our troops. That's my good thing. Now my real thing is that I hated having to follow a man around the country and change my career because of his career. It was really incredibly difficult. I knew what I was signing up for. I knew that I signed up for that life, and still, when he left the military and I had to sell this successful catering business that I had somehow created, or sell it for scraps, let's be serious. When I had to move on from the catering business, I was so like resentful and bitter. And I'm lucky that I have a lot of really awesome SEAL wife friends who kind of helped me just work through that, because that's just such a huge part of being. Are there any military spouses here? It's a huge part of being a military spouse, and it's really hard to have your life be dictated by somebody else's schedule. I was able to make lemonade out of those lemons and create a career that is location fluid. And what a huge superpower that became, because I became like a digital person. And I think if we had stayed in San Diego, I'd have grown this catering business and kind of kept with that path, and which was awesome, but also gave me gray hairs at a very young age. Catering, wow, that is a hard job. So yeah, it became a huge asset that I had to move for a man.
Writing cookbooks was a dream of yours. What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking, the cookbook that shares a title with your Substack, was published late last summer and became a New York Times bestseller, congratulations, and a big hit. But you started shopping the idea for the book in 2019 and was turned down by how many publishers?
How many are there? Sarah? All of them. All of them.
Why did they, oh wow, 20, okay. Why did they turn you down?
Well, if they responded, they all loved the idea. It was the same exact concept as I later turned into my Substack. Minimal dishes, just really simplifying cooking for people, making, taking the guesswork out, a full meal. That's the biggest part of What to Cook, is that it's not just an entree and side dishes and separate chapters that you have to piece together. Our brains can't do that if we don't feel like cooking, so it makes the whole meal for you. So every single recipe is a complete dinner meal. I can't remember what we're talking about.
I knew you were going to say that.
You're like, you went way off.
Well, I think you buried it, the memories deep in your brain because of the rejection.
Yes.
Why did they reject you? I think it also had something to do with your social media
Social
following.
reach.
Yeah.
So they all cited social reach. At this time, I had no social presence. I had transitioned when we moved. I had transitioned from catering to freelance recipe development. So I was writing recipes for brands, magazines, like ghostwriting them. No Caroline Chambers was involved. And I really wanted to have my own presence. I wanted to be my own person in the food world, but I was busy. I had this other stuff going on. I was like, I'm not gonna put up recipes for free on the internet. Like, I get paid for them. And that was the wrong plan, as it turns out, because every single publisher had the same reason, which was who's gonna buy this book? She has no social reach. Yeah.
I don't know if folks caught when Michelle Adana said it, but you are expecting your next child.
Yeah, I am.
When are you due?
July.
Very exciting. Okay, so the book comes out. It's a big hit.
Yeah.
Like I said, New York Times bestseller. When it finally came out, did you have a Pretty Woman moment? Were you like, big mistake, big, huge?
Okay, yes. I think Sarah and I had like a private moment of that. Sarah's my agent. I also am really grateful for that rejection. Somebody said it in the last panel. Yes. Somebody. Clancy, my new best friend. It was the wrong time. They were right, unfortunately. All of those editors who said who's going to buy it, I think they were right. I do think the title stands on its own, and I think that's a big reason why the newsletter has taken off, because it's not a personality-driven Substack, right? You don't have to know who I am and like my Instagram, and I don't have to be a big TikToker. The name speaks for itself. If you often don't feel like cooking, you're gonna click subscribe. But yeah,
I'm sure a lot of folks in the room can relate to this next part, because there is pressure to have a social media following,
Yeah.
especially if you're in media or doing anything in food. You decide you're going to build your profile on social media and went into what sounded to me like beast mode. Posting reels every day, working overtime on recipe development.
Yeah.
Did you burn yourself out? Was it the right approach?
I think the Navy SEAL husband came in handy here. He is like beast mode incarnate. So his favorite saying is, like, when I'm feeling overwhelmed or like there's just too many tasks in front of me, it's a Navy SEAL / like old proverb, I'm sure, is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So just like one thing at a time. Like, look at your list and check one thing off. Like, you are narrowing it down. When I launched What to Cook, the newsletter, I had just had my second son, Callum. He was about 3 months old, and so I had two kids, an 18-month-old and a 3-month-old, and I honestly think I was the most efficient. Well, I become more and more efficient each time, but I was more efficient then than I was when I was 22 years old working in New York City in advertising. You time like warps when you have children, and you become this like efficiency machine. And I genuinely don't think I would have written, when I wrote the proposal for What to Cook in 2019 got rejected, I had one child. I had no idea what it meant to not feel like cooking. Like now I know. And so that book and that newsletter became such better versions of themselves with each amount of time that got whittled away from my schedule.
You're known for being very in touch with your readers and communicating with them, all the back and forth. I'm curious, what insight have you gained about your audience, and how is she doing today?
Oh, how's she doing? You know, she's doing okay. I have a really politically and all types of diverse audience, which is so great. She's definitely feeling extremely budget conscious right now, and I think that that's yet another one of the many ways where I can now try to reach her where she is. For instance, last week I did this really good crispy halibut with spring veg, 1 skillet. It's very nice. Go get it. And I talked about how I'm not just gonna throw a halibut recipe on there as if anybody can afford halibut right now. That's really a big expense for the majority of my readers. So we not only, say, if you have something special coming up, this would be awesome. Halibut is a really special fish. This is a perfect way to cook it. You're gonna really enjoy this. I also talk about how to cook cod, shrimp, chicken in place of that. And I got so many messages from people being like, thank you for not making me comment and ask what else I could cook instead of the halibut. Thank you for understanding that you putting halibut on there is out of reach, and a lot of us need for that to be a little bit more in touch. There's so many ways to meet your readers where they are with food writing, how expensive halibut is, really connected to so many people, just taking that down and talking to them about that. I recognize that.
What's next for you?
Oh gosh.
Aside from baby.
Well, it's something I haven't talked about. We just bought a new house.
Congratulations.
Because we outgrew our old one. So we close May 15th, and we're going to do that. And I think I'd like to write some more books. And I'm just going to keep growing this newsletter and seeing where it takes me. It's at a really exciting time right now. I think Substack is an incredibly exciting platform to be on right now. The growth opportunities there are tremendous. If you don't have a huge social reach and you can't get that book deal, it's a great place to grow and not have to fight the Instagram algorithm and the TikTok algorithm. Get on Substack and meet people who also have 2,000 subscribers and exchange contacts with each other and post about each other, and you can really see a lot of growth that way. Nobody knew who I was when I started my Substack, and that is how I've grown my community. So I hired a full-time editor this year for the first time, which, it's so exciting when you get to build that team. So Molly's my full-time editor, and we've really been bringing her and her awesome personality more into the newsletter, which gives me the ability to take a step away, have a baby, maybe write some more books. Continuing to really focus there.
People might be interested to know, you really didn't do anything on TikTok, right?
Gosh,
You've kind of avoided TikTok.
I really did. I mean, don't listen to me, because that's not a good business decision, I don't think. It's just I had 2 children when I was starting this business as it is, and I did not have the time. I couldn't do it. It was too many directions. And so I niched down with Substack and put all my eggs in that basket, Substack and Instagram. Instagram is how I grow my community, and Instagram is still the #1 way that I get paid subscribers. So I have 500,000 subscribers on Substack now, but the biggest way that I convert people to paid is still via an Instagram link. You can look in your data and see that, Substackers. So the people who are paying to be a part of my community are people who are following me on Instagram. I think people see, again, you said at the beginning, we started with who's your audience. It is everyone, in theory, anyone who doesn't feel like cooking. But I do think my audience will grow with me and who I am. Right now, I'm a mother of small children, so that's mostly who they are. So I think they're seeing my life on Instagram, and they're seeing oh, her life is kind of shit showy, and she's honest about that. And that kid was sick last night and up all night, and that one's in kindergarten, and she's the room mom there, and she's still putting dinner on the table. And okay, I'll trust her. Like, I'll trust her. I'll follow those recipes. Yeah, I think you I don't know, you gain a lot of trust there through that. But yeah, I don't know. Get on TikTok. I wish I was on TikTok. You're all so smart.
I think you're doing okay not being on TikTok. Okay. Last question. I'm going to give you a magic wand, Caro. If you could do one thing to make the world better for all the moms out there, what would you want to do?
Okay, this is obviously very top of mind because I'm about to have a baby. The one thing outside of food that I really connect with women on is the lack of decent postpartum care in this country. Is anyone Dutch here? My Dutch.
Oh, we do have Dutch people in the audience.
I have a random huge
Where are the
amount
Mars?
of Dutch followers,
Okay.
and when you have a baby, I have a lot of Amsterdam followers. Okay, so when you have a baby, a nurse comes and checks on you in your home every single day for 2 weeks. And I was so unwell after I had my first son, Mattis. I was incredibly postpartum bluesy. I had no idea that any of those feelings were, if they were normal, and nobody was checking on me. And that is something that drives me absolutely mental. So when I have a little more space and my children are a little older, that's something I'd like to try to focus on and make a little change in.
That's amazing.
Better care for moms.
Beautiful answer. All right, Caro, that's
was that
it.
30
I know.
minutes?
Look at us. We're on schedule. When does that happen? Thank you so much. Congratulations on all your success. We're so proud of you. And make sure
Thank you.
you go see Caroline during her book signing, during happy hour. Thank you, everybody.